King Billy Coke Bottle.
I've been having some trouble with Morton, and he'd understand this about the finance, you know, but Morton, he's walked in the bank in this town and he's wanted to cash his cheque, you know, from the government. So he's walking up to the counter there and says, "Excuse me, you cash my cheque?" She said, "Sure." She said, "Just endorse it." He said, "I ain't endorsing nothing." She said, "Well, you don't endorse it, I won't cash it." Well, he said, "You got to endorse it. That's a racial discrimination." He said, "No, you got to endorse it back, then I'll cash it." He said, "That's a racial discrimination. You got it. Give that money to me straight away. I'm not endorsing nothing." So with all this racket, the bank manager, he saw that, you know, there was trouble out there, so he's come out of his office. He's walked out of the office around the corner, come up to Morton. He's kneed him in the nuts. Punched him in the head, spun him around and threw him on the ground. And he said to Morton, he said, "Now you're going to endorse that cheque?" Morton said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, why didn't you do that for the lady?" He said, "She didn't explain it like you did." Yeah, one day, you know, Morton, he was sitting there talking to himself at the bar and he said, "Looks like plastic, feels like a rubber. It looked like plastic, but it feels like rubber." I said, "Morton, what do you got there?" I'm thinking, you know, he got some new technological breakthrough or something, you know. He said, "Oh, Billy," he said, "looks like plastic, but it feels like rubber." I said, "Give us a look at that." Anyway, I got it in my finger there and I'm squeezing it and looking at it. I said, "It does look like a plastic. And it does feel like rubber." I said, "Morton, where'd you find this?" He said, "Up my nostril." Cousin Albert, who I mentioned earlier on, his grandfather, you know, he passed away. And me and Morton was going to the funeral. And later on we're at the wake, you know, at their place. I said, "Oh, Cousin Albert, I'm really sorry to hear about grandfather passing away." He said, "Oh, thank you, Billy, thank you, Morton." He said, "One thing about it anyway, at least, you know, he had a drink and he died peacefully in his sleep." I said, "Yeah, that's all right. What about the other 30 people on the bus he was driving?" Actually, talking about survival, Morton, he out in the middle of Australia, I think the Simpson Desert or something, and he got lost. And for his own survival, he had the old Blue, you know, old Blue dog. He thought, "I've got to do it, I've got to live, you know, so I'm going to eat him." So he shot the dog, and he ended up, you know, cooking him up. And he'd been throwing the bones to one side, you know. And then as he finished, he looked down and he started crying. He said, "Geez, I wish Blue was here. He would have liked those bones." Then one other time, he's walking in here, and he's come up, you know, you met Marshall, publican. He's walked up to him and said, "Hey, drinks all round." And he said, "And have one yourself." So anyway, he's gone around and poured all the drinks and come up to Morton. He said, "That'll be $49.50. He said, "I've got no money, man." He said, "You mongrel b***." He's come around behind the bar and he's kneed Morton in the nuts. Picked him up and threw him out in the street, you know. So Morton, he's dusted himself off and he's come staggering back in. He said, "Right, drinks all round." The bloke looked at him. He said, "None for you." He said, "You get angry when you've been drinking." One other time he's coming in here too and he said, "Excuse me, can I have a double Bundy and Coke?" Anyway, he gone and poured a drink. He put it in front of the Morton. Morton said, "I shouldn't be drinking this with what I got." He said, "What do you got?" He said, 20 cents. Morton the other day is going into the fire station. Said, excuse me, I want to report my mother-in-law missing." The bloke said, "You must be drunk, mate. This is a fire station. You want the police station. You go down the road and report it there. No way, mate. He said, the last time I reported to them, they found her.